A major tourist destination, stunning natural views, one of the world's largest exporter of tea products and spices. Yes, we are talking about Sri Lanka. There was a time when Sri Lanka has one of the fastest growing economy in the world, but now tables have turned. Sri Lanka is experiencing the nation's worst economic crisis since its independence in 1948. So what has gone wrong? Stick with me to know more about the Sri Lanka crisis. Before we dig into the video, I would like you to show me the support by hitting the like and subscribe button visible on the screen. This will encourage us to bring more unheard stories of the world to you. Sri Lanka was once a major tourist hub with beautiful landscapes and welcoming culture. In fact, the tourism sector alone contributed to 12% to the GDP of Sri Lanka, and close to 2.5 million people were dependent on it, whereas tea exports contribute to 2% of its GDP. In March 2021, 1 US dollars was equal to 201 Sri Lankan rupees, but today it is worth 304 rupees. The downfall of the currency is so steep. Inflation of 46% has been reported in the month of April 2022. The situation has become so worse in Sri Lanka that only necessary goods such as rice, flour, sugar, and other food supplies are available in the supermarkets with limited quantities and with highly inflated prices. There are no adequate medicines to treat the sick, and surgeries in most hospitals were on hold due to shortage of the medicines. There is no fuel to run the manufacturing industries. There is no fuel to cook food too. The power cuts has been increased to 13 hours a day in some regions as there are no fuel and water reserves to generate electricity. Due to the soaring prices of the daily necessities and loss of jobs has forced many people to go hungry and many are losing lives. Schools have stopped conducting examinations as there are no resources of papers, ink, etc. It is estimated that close to 10% of Sri Lankan population have fallen below the poverty line since the beginning of the crisis. In despair, people of Sri Lanka are moving to India as refugees. The dissatisfaction of the citizens in government is displayed across the nation. Protests have been organized and are still running. Groups of protesters have surrounded the Sri Lanka's president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa house, demanding for his resignation. Buses were burnt. Violence erupted between the forces and the crowd, which resulted in announcement of state of emergency. So what went wrong for a country which was growing at a rapid pace? Well, there are four main reasons for the downfall of Sri Lankan economy. Easter blast and COVID-19. On 21st April 2019, on the eve of Easter Sunday, a series of bomb blasts were reported in churches and hotels of different places in Sri Lanka. The blast killed around 290 people and injured over 500 people. The government announced the blasts as acts of terror and are targeted towards a minority community of Sri Lanka. Though bombs were planted at the airport too, but the security forces managed to dispose them off. These blasts have raised security concerns for the foreign tourists and affected the economy. Right after the incident, COVID-19 pandemic has dragged the tourism industry of Sri Lanka to rock bottom. Tax cuts. Right after the Easter bomb blast, during the election campaigns, the president nominee Gotabaya Rajapaksa has promised tax cuts if elected to power. It is believed that this move has resulted in loss to the government revenue and decreased the foreign currency reserves. Banning of imported chemical fertilizers. To overcome the foreign currency shortage issues, the government of Sri Lanka banned the imports of fertilizers and instead asked the farmers to use organic fertilizers. This has led to nationwide crop failures and shortage of food supplies. The government then had to increase the imports of food supplies and therefore dropping in currency reserves. Foreign debts. Sri Lanka owes in total of $50 billion to its foreign creditors. It has suspended the interest payments in the year 2022 owing to the plummeting foreign reserves and hard-hit economic crisis. It is now in talks with its creditors, including International Monetary Fund, to restructure its debts. Whatever the reasons are, the people of Sri Lanka are hit the worst. Let's hope that Sri Lanka recovers from the economic crisis soon. Please do check out our earlier videos. See you next time. And yes, please like and subscribe to our channel.